Hi, and welcome back to Transform Your Impact. My name is Lisa Henderson, and we are speaking to entrepreneurs, creatives, and thought leaders about the things that have moved them forward to make an impact in their lives, success, and brought them money while living fulfilling lives and truly changing the world with their ventures. So today we have a very accomplished guest with us. Her name is Lisa Haisha. She's a humanitarian, a TV host, a counselor, and creator of soul blazing therapy. She's also a keynote speaker speaking all over the world and a business coach. So thank you so much. I'm excited to have you on our show, Lisa.
Hi, so great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. So first off, I'd love to talk about some of the great projects and work that you're up to. What are you most excited about right now?
Well, right now I am creating a massive online school. So people could take online virtual classes and they can speak to me personally one day a week. I think I'm doing it Thursdays, Pacific Standard Time, 6 to 7:30. And people from all over the world. I'm creating a webinar for, Ask Lisa Q&As because I get so many emails. What about this? What should I do about that? So everyone could call in. So I'm creating this whole infrastructure, which should be done in a couple of months.
Awesome.
And yeah, definitely by summer, but probably sooner. And then I'm also writing my travel memoir. I call it my Eat, Pray, Love, if you remember that book. Yes. So it's about I've been to over 80 countries. So I've been around quite a bit in the past 3 decades. And I've lived in several of the countries. I stayed with the Bedouins in Petra, Sufis in Cappadocia, and shamans in Peru, and did ayahuasca and all that stuff. So I've been around. I studied with the Maoris and then other people. Just went to City of the Dead in Cairo and everywhere. Amsterdam, this, that, lived in Japan, was a model in Tokyo. So I have so many different experiences. So I went to Iraq when they were bombing. So all these different things that I have put together of what is the main journey of what did I learn from this. So I'm not going to put all of that in, but I'm going to pick the, 6 to 10 most interesting countries where I had the biggest ahas, or the countries really spoke to me, were lessons for people to learn, piggyback off what I did. And it's really exciting. I'm on chapter 5. So about a chapter a month. So it should be done probably by the end of summer.
Beautiful. Do you have a title for it, or it's
Unmade Beds? So far, Unmade Beds.
Unmade Beds. Awesome. Love it.
Because when you travel, you don't have to make who you want in your bed. It's kind of like the poetry of life, and so it's nice. Yeah, it's a time where we dream, we think, we play, it's just a magical place.
So great. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So will you tell us about your soul blazing technique? I know you've got a really wonderful therapeutic technique that you've developed. Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was coaching people for several years after I got my master's, and I thought, this really isn't working as quickly as I like, because most people who do therapy, they're used to going for a year, 2 years, 3 years, or their whole life if you're Jewish. I know so many of my friends, that's what they do, and including my husband, and they just love it. It's just like a stable person that they keep in touch with and go over their stuff, and they don't have to keep repeating themselves or going backwards, which I think is wonderful in one way, but I didn't want to be that type of therapist. I want to do not a quick fix, but a huge tune-up and give them tools to live their life. So I want to be more of a coach than a therapist. So working with people, I started saying, wow, and I talk about, your ego wants that, relationships, we're fighting for this or that, for jobs, and, just in office communication, culture, everything, family dynamics. It's really our ego that's driving us of, I need this, I need that, I have to look good, I have to keep up with the Joneses, I have, all these things, all these arguments. So I thought, let me start writing down a common theme with each person I see. So after I did that with about 100 people over a couple of years, I started breaking it down, and I said, okay, that's probably good enough for now. Maybe I could add more, but I came up with 8. So I thought, okay, that's good enough. So if you have your ego, I chopped it up into like 8 compartments. And all of us have really all 8, but some are much more dominant than others. But when I started doing this, And speaking about it, people just really started to get and going, oh my God, I got my aha. I've been in therapy this long. I didn't know it. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Just experimenting with it because my background is the groundlings, improv and acting and all that. So I brought in that. So I kind of do the who, what, where. And, like some of them are the narcissists, your wounded inner child, your inner therapist, your fixer, your overthinker, your clown, your philosopher. So all these different characters, your sex god, goddess. So how do you lead when you want something? And then when people say, oh my God, that's my dominant one, we do work on it. And we try to stretch that muscle from 1 to 10. And the ones that they're weak on, we stretch them 1 to 10. Like if they've never worked on, like say sex, that's an easy one to explain. So they're too inhibited. So they get affected negatively because they don't know how to be in their body. They don't know how to seduce. They don't know how to play. They're afraid of everyone. Or if they're too sexual, it pushes people away, or they're using it as a weapon to get what they want, so it's like, oh, they get that. So if they're a 1, 2, or 3, I teach them how to do all of it and then to come and find balance. Now, if you're a philosopher, you're arrogant, you think you know everything, you are on top of the world, you get bored of other people because no one's as smart as you and all that kind of stuff. Or you go into your cocoon and work, then you come out to show, look at the music I just composed, or look at this that I just did. So teaching them how to be more in the world and how not to judge others if they're not as intellectual or as creative, because everyone has something, and how to enjoy people more. So they don't have to be a hermit or whoever they're speaking with, they're judging. So something like that. Overthinker had so many clients who they wanted to finish that book, or they wanted to go on those trips or have kids or whatever it was, but they overthink everything. Oh, this person's not right enough, so I can't get married. This one's not good. This one has this one has that. So they never had kids. Or I can't write the book because I've got to make a living and I've got this and that. It's like, no, you carve out 2 hours a day. Even if it takes you 2 years, you do your book, it doesn't have to be done in 3 months, or it's not done at all. So when a couple of people died, including my mother, who still died with their song left in them, I just thought, oh, okay, that's something that's huge to work on with people. So that's one of the main ones that people come in with. But once you say you're an overthinker, they get it more than, oh, your ego stopped you. Oh, you're a perfectionist, because it's like, oh, I overthink everything. Where else am I overthinking? Where I'm not accomplishing? Where else am I? I want to diet. I screwed up already by 10 a.m. So I'm going to just eat pasta the rest of the day, or chocolate. I'll start tomorrow. No, now start at 10 a.m. is your new bar. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to overthink it, but small baby steps make a big difference. A wounded inner child, they usually pick narcissists to date because narcissists prey on wounded inner children who can't take care of themselves. They need a lifeboat. They need, a daddy figure or a mommy figure. So they're just trying to find that person to support them, and how all that's manipulative and messy and plays out. And they always blame the other person. It's like, no, look at you. Everything's about you because you're in the mess. Someone else wouldn't have been involved with a person that you were involved with. So nobody took advantage of you. They were just being them, and you're being you. And the chemistry of the explosion happened out of you being you, too. So you're 50% of the mess. Even if someone completely ripped you off or took advantage of you, you allowed it because you were working from that state, your wounded inner child, instead of a healthy state. So I take them through, this is weak, this is strong. This is a strong, powerful person who really knows how to stand in their greatness. And here's the wounded inner child who's thinks they're a fraud, incompetent, incapable. So we start developing that. So once I started doing that, and on stage when I speak in front of 300, 400 people and we play it out, it's just so funny. And it's, everyone's laughing, getting out of their bodies, getting out of their minds into their bodies. And it's just became something that worked. So I just say, okay, let me create it more. You're just playing, and then you're saying what works, what sticks, what doesn't.
That's so cool. So yeah, it sounds like archetypes that sort of take it out of this, like less judgment, maybe?
Yes. So that's what I say. You're perfect because you're your authentic soul. Just that imposter, your narcissist imposter pops up and starts, I say they live on the stage of your brain, and they're like a pit bull. So when they're trained, they're great guard dogs. They protect you. They're loving. But if they're not trained, they'll bite you. So you'll bite and hurt yourself, or you'll hurt others because you're scared. Then you push people away. You bite them. I'm going to get them before they get me. Where it's subconscious. You're not even aware of what you're doing. imposters, get to know them, be comfortable with who they are and how they're sabotaging your life, and let's write it all down. Let's get it in the body. Let's play them out in all these different scenarios with other people. Then you could actually, deal with it. Now you go, this is what I'm dealing with. And you could grasp it, because it's not, oh my God, I'm screwed up. That's so big. Where do you begin with that? But when you go, oh, just this aspect, then from that you might go, oh, through that, I overthink everything. Now let's work on that. Through that, I think I'm great at whatever it is, organizing. So you're going to start judging others if you go to their house and their house is a mess. It's like, no, that's overthinking. That's judging. So people start going, oh my God, I realized I did this. I realized I go for holidays here and I'm judging everything. And no wonder why we clashed. Because even if I didn't say mean words, the projection is judgment and the other person picks up on it. And all these ahas start coming, and it's wonderful.
Oh, that's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Will you tell us a little bit about your journey? I mean, because you are making such an impact in the world and you are so effective with what you're doing. Were you always empowered in this way, or did you have a transformation of some kind?
Well, when I was 16 years old, I was baking a cake 3 houses down, and I grew up in San Diego under a Baghdad roof, I say, because my father was from Baghdad, Iraq, and he was very strict, and there's 5 of us, 5 girls, and he was very scared something might happen to one of us, or one of us might go out and would ruin the reputation of everybody. So we really weren't allowed to go out or date, and we were just, you go to school, you come home. But he worked 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. 7 days a week till I was 16. Then he took little breaks, and one day I decided to make a cake with my girlfriend 3 houses down for our other best friend at school. I came home at 5:30, and the street lights were on. So I came home in my checkered Catholic girl uniform, came home, and he was there, and he pulled a gun on me. He was right there at the door. And so I'm sending you to an orphanage. What kind of a girl are you? Blah, 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 and went off because he was so nervous and scared. I'm like, you could have asked mom. Mom knows where I was. How could she run? What kind of household is she running? Letting us all run out and go crazy. And so I'm like, no, I'm 16 baking a cake, and, anyway, I said, I want to leave. And he's like, then leave. And I said, I don't have money. He gave me money. Then I said, great, I'm out of here. He snatched it back. Why should I give you money? I went to my room. And in that moment, I thought, wow, here's someone who keeps telling us, watch out for the bad guys. That's why he's so strict. Maybe the bad guy's under the roof, even though he's a good guy. And I knew Iraqi way, I have cousins and relatives where they hit and beat and do all this other stuff much worse. So he was the lenient one. So I knew where it was coming from. So you don't take it as seriously if it was like an American father doing that out of the blue. Yeah. I go, oh, wow, he's doing it out of love, but still it doesn't feel good. So I just thought, what is an orphanage, anyway, and started thinking, but that's when I got, it shifted me. I became more daring. I became more careless, reckless, because I was this really goody two-shoes. And I started hitchhiking when they wouldn't know after school. And I would just get in cars with crazy people, a Hell's Angels type. But if they were normal, I would not go in, only because I wanted to test. Let me meet all these dangerous people. Yeah. I think it was this secret feeling to hurt my parents. If I got hurt, they'd suffer. But anyway, nobody hurt me. Everyone couldn't have been nicer. I go, but why are you driving this car, broken down car? Why do you have tattoos? Why do you have ratty hair? Why did you screw up in your life? Why are you broke at this age? Why are you, all these questions I had, and they just answered and laughed and just whatever. I'm like, Dad, there's not dangerous people around the world. That was the story. And then I decided, I moved to LA at 22. I went to Madonna's concert in San Diego State University, which is her first concert, and that's where I was going to school, and she happened to be playing there, and I thought, wow, she's exactly what I needed, because she came from a patriarchal family and religious and Italian, and I go, how did she break up? And she had all these siblings. So I went there hoping to meet her. We found out where the band was staying. We went there. The band was there, but she wasn't, but I connected to a band member, and we kept in touch. He kept saying, come to this concert. I said, I can't, I'm not allowed to spend the night. He's like, you're 22. I'm like, I can't spend the night at this point. So I decided at the end of the concert, she was in New York for 5 days. So it was like 6-7 months later, I decided to go and meet him there. And so I did, and stayed 5 nights and saw her. I got, backstage, sitting on the side of the stage, sitting in the front row. And that was huge for me. I've never met anybody. Then I talked to her and I said, give me a piece of advice. How do I get out of my shell? And how do I break to travel and travel alone. And that's the way you find out who you are. Because people like us would be, oh, what do you want to do? Where do you want to stay? Because that's how we're brought up. So she goes, find out who you are, what you think, what you do. So I took that to heart, and I went away for a 2-week vacation to Europe. And then I just never stopped. Then I came home and said, I'm moving to LA. And I moved to LA and started working and done, commercials and, TV and B movies and this and that. Then I decided something was still holding me back. I mean, there's 100 stories in there that we don't have time for, but something was holding me back. And I decided to go to Iraq and find out about my culture. So I happened to go there right when Clinton was president. He was bombing, and they hated George W. or George Sr. because he started the war and started bombing over there, and the Kuwait thing, everything that happened. Wow. So, so it was really bad. They hated Americans. So I went there and I just started interviewing everybody. And then someone was taking us around, and then we ended up in Tilkef, where Saddam's town is. And I kept going, I want to meet Saddam. I want to meet Saddam. So I got in there and got to go to this meeting, got to meet the vice president, Taha Ramadan, and Tariq Aziz. And then I never got to meet Saddam or his sons, because I think they were too dangerous, especially the sons, because they were killing girls and whatever, all this stuff. But I didn't care, because I was that superpower because of what happened to me that gave me a toughness I didn't have before, and understanding that when you don't really have anything to live for, you're more reckless. You don't care if you die. I had the secret, I don't care if I die thing after that happened, where before I was very different. But then I stumbled into an orphanage, because it was a very small town. It just had like a school, an orphanage, an ice cream truck, a liquor store, whatever, in caves that people jumped on each other's house. So they took us to the church, and then I said, that's an orphanage? That's what my dad had in his mind, because this is where he grew up. So I went in there and started talking to the kids. And they're like, the bottom line is, they're like, nobody really cares about us. They keep bombing us. And my father, lost his leg. My uncle's dead. This person, this. Everyone had stories. Why doesn't anyone come? I'm like, I care about you. I'll give you a voice. I thought, how am I going to memorialize their words? So from there, every time I traveled, I went to an orphanage for the next 5 years and started collecting their stories, and created this book, Whispers from Children's Hearts. And then I put that together as a book, because I didn't know how to just do it with Iraq. So I put it together as a book with 15 countries, and comparing what kids are like at certain ages, all the same age, but it was happening around the world. Wow. Then all of a sudden I got asked to speak all over in all these schools, and all of a sudden I became a speaker. I wasn't going to do that. So it just sort of happened. So what I teach people is, do what you have a passion for, and your whole life will unfold. Quit thinking so hard. Get out of your head, get into your heart. And what moves you, the universe will conspire to help you and bring the right people towards you to help you unfold the way you're supposed to unfold. Oh, so it's really a huge lesson for me, because I was trying so hard, got to make this work, got to make that work, but it wasn't working. And I'm like, oh, how do you make it work? And then you're depressed every day because things aren't going your way. It's like, maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe that was supposed to lead to something else. So.
Yeah, very cool. Well, my next question for you was going to be, if you could give one piece of advice to the viewers on what would transform their impact more than anything that you've experienced, what would that be?
What do you think?
I think exactly what you just said. Follow your heart.
Yeah. So to extend that answer, I would say travel, and travel alone. What Madonna said, because when you travel by yourself, I don't care even if you go to another city or do a staycation in your own city, but to travel and cut yourself off from everybody and create an experience or an adventure for yourself, where you're trusting yourself and everything is up to you. You can't lean on anybody to help you, get around. You can't lean on anyone to just be there for emotional or psychological support. It's just you. It really develops you in a way that I don't think anything else can. And the other thing I would say to do is to do affirmations, do mirror work. I say, look at yourself in the eyes, really close to the mirror, and just talk to yourself. Say, I love you. Say your positive affirmations. And that's a whole nother class on how to do that the right way and this and that, which we don't have time for. But if you go to my website, lisahaisha.com, and sign up for the newsletter, I'll send you all the information you need to know. But all these are like 2 or 3 day classes that I'm giving you. So it's like, sure. In a nutshell, but basically travel and love yourself. Because if you can't connect to you, you're not going to connect to anybody or your work or your life in any way that's profound, because even if you're having miracles every day, you won't see them, you won't enjoy them. You're going to want something bigger, better, prettier, shinier, or comparing yourself to someone else. You'll never be satisfied. But if you connect to you, you're going to be satisfied. So
love it. Beautiful. Yeah. And so we'll also share a link below this video for a free gift from Lisa Haisha on her website. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I will give away a 365-day writer's journal. I taught this class, and some people were saying, oh, but it's just so hard to, write on the page of, a blank page. And so I give you a quote, I give you a little story, and then I give you a quote, and I to answer regarding those, just to inspire you, and then write about it. And then I give you a vocabulary word to stick in there if you want to take it to the next level to beef up your vocabulary. So I put fun, creative words there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, for your time and your wisdom.
You're welcome. So thank you so much. It was fun being here today.